SmackDown was in Detroit, Michigan tonight, and you had a show in which you had an intro before with Elias coming out, and that was kind of like a way that TV shows do it all the time where you have a segment, then you have the introduction of the show, the opening video package, and here you had that. He had Elias in the ring, and then he takes us to the opening video package, and when you have it starts off the show in a match that's going to be a triple threat to start. It was originally going to be Daniel Bryan, Corbin, and The Miz in a triple threat to the winner gets a title shot against the Fiend at the Royal Rumble. That's how we start the show. You have Daniel Bryan come out, and you have Corbin come out, and he comes out as King Corbin, and all of a sudden they accidentally drop him. When Roman Reigns was a kid, Roman comes out, beats down Corbin, takes him out, crushes him. They go into the crowd. Corbin tries to retreat. Roman goes after him. They show what happened. Corbin's in the back, and he wants the match to be postponed. They show the trainer saying they don't have the power to delay the match. Michael Cole asks Corey if the match should be postponed, and Corey says it should be. The New Day make their way to the ring. You have Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Braun Strowman against Sami Zayn, Nakamura, and Cesaro. Shinsuke, Cesaro, and Sami. So, Big Braun Strowman teams up with the New Day here, and this is a joke. The Braun Strowman character is done now. I think his last chance is against Seth Rollins at the September pay-per-view, but now it's done. So, he gets to win. Eventually, he gets a power slam, and after the match, yes, Big E and Kofi are dancing, and they get Braun Strowman to dance with them, and it looks absolutely horrendous. And as I said, my biggest fear of Braun Strowman was he was going to become the new Big Show, in which he's just this giant goofball, a giant big guy, and he's just going to be a comedy actor for the kids. He's just going to be the big friendly giant. He's not going to be a killer like he was a few years ago. That's exactly what my fears with Braun Strowman was, and unfortunately, thank you, WWE, that has come 100% true. What we see now is exactly that. We see Braun just as a comedy character now, and I think more and more people are looking at it as a situation in which they've just accepted. I don't think they see him as a major star anymore. After the match, after the stupid dancing, they go backstage and they show Kayla Braxton looking great as always. She's talking to a trainer, and she wants an update on Baron Corbin. What's going to happen to him? We see Sonya Deville reading a magazine, and she's interrupted by Mandy Rose, who asked her for help for her match tonight against Carmela, and Mandy wants Sonya's help. Sonya is still pissed off at Mandy because she never helped her last week, and she just kind of bailed out on her after Otis drenched her in sweat, and now this is what's going to happen on this week. They show Mandy Rose, and she's all of a sudden interrupted by Otis, who has a giant homemade fruitcake. He says his mother made this for her after she saw Mandy kiss him, and it's a giant cake. It's actually pretty funny and cute. He gives it to her, and then of course Mandy goes for her match later against Carmela. And what you have in this match is there's no Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose is the heel in this match. I don't understand why. Why was Mandy Rose the heel? She's acting like a babyface backstage. She's a face now. Sonya's the heel. Why put Mandy as the heel now? I don't really get it, but Mandy would eventually lose to Carmela. Yes, right in front of the storyline. They're actually having a decent storyline here. They're kind of giving her a push, and yet they have her just lose to Carmela. So it is what it is. But we'll see how this goes. I'm actually starting to like Mandy and Otis this storyline pretty well. Sheamus commercial. You have Daniel Bryan against The Miz, and this is going to basically be the number one contenders match, and the winner goes on to face the Fiend in the Royal Rumble and lose to the Fiend, of course, but this is what it was designed to be, and it would be another disaster, as there would be more chaos as they showed Baron Corbin on the TV screen. And he's back in the match. He says, well, I'm going to go out there now. What happened is Corbin was replaced after Reigns beat him up, and he had to be taken out of the match. But since Reigns has been out of the building, and they show Kayla Braxton informing him of this, that Reigns is out of the building, he wants to be in the match again. And however, Daniel Bryan and Messias, they go backstage, they kick his ass. They set it up later for the triple threat, eventually to main event the show, but that's how they did it there. They show Miz Baron Corbin after he gets beat up. They officially announce a triple threat's gonna main event the show, so it comes full circle. After that, we get Moment of Bliss. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross come out. Alexa and Nikki are a babyface team. I don't see much in them. I'm kind of sick of them already. Alexa is someone who can be a star. It's just with Alexa, I don't know. I don't see it anymore. I think she peaked. I think she peaked a couple years ago as being a top female star for the company. I think they've done a lot. Everything they could do with Alexa. I think with Alexa, she's more so just going to be a valet or a talk show host. I don't know if she's doing a major push again because of her health, but she's teaming her and Mandy are a team now, and I guess they're just going to be a babyface tag team. They eventually bring out their guest, which is Lacey Evans, and Lacey rips into Sasha Banks. She's pissed off. Alexa says she's not surprised, which of course we all know the heat between Alexa and Sasha. But Lacey's ripping into Banks and Bayley, and she's saying how bad role models they are. Eventually, she goes to the ring, and her opponents clear out. The Dana Brooks music hits. It's going to be Lacey Evans and Dana Brooke against Bayley and Sasha Banks. But Bayley and Sasha jump Dana, and they beat her up, and they look like they're going to do more damage to her. But Tommaso Ciampa just goes after him. And then they fight on the stage, and no one really gets hurt. He beats down everyone. He uses thumbtacks, chairs, steel steps, steel ladders, everything you can imagine. Tables, ladders, every weapon. But the problem is with him is when you go back to wrestling, Wait, I'm sorry, I messed that up. I'm going back to that the women's tag match with Sasha Banks and Bayley against Lacey Evans and Carmela. Then Dana Brooke. Okay, so they jump Dana Brooke, and they eventually have a brawl on the stage, and they have the match. The match they have is fairly average. It's okay. It ends up Dana Brooke trying to get a cheap in on Sasha, but Sasha sees it. She rolls through and gets the bank statement on, so her team gets the win, while you have Alexa's team, what are their names? The heels losing, so you have the heels getting over the faces this match, because it was a long beatdown. It sets up Sasha and Bayley later, and I suppose the Sasha Banks singles feud with whoever the SmackDown champion is would be very good. If it's Bayley, it's okay. If it's not, it's fine. But I think that's went fairly well. They show Mustafa Ali video package. No one really cares too much about that. Eventually, we get to the main event, which is Dana Bryan against The Miz against Baron Corbin, and the winner gets to face The Fiend at the Royal Rumble for the WWE Universal Championship. This is an okay match up here. This is pretty decent. Eventually, Dana Bryan gets taken out of the match, as we all accepted. And once she's taken out of the match, he is taken out of the entire show. So I'm looking forward to the show. I have to keep it PG. Can't go X-rated. I have a little brother. I have several young cousins. I can't do that. I can't do that. Well, yeah. It is what it is. Whoa.
And eventually, Daniel Bryan and Miz are the last two. Bryan with the win gets the Miz to tap out, and he will face the Fiend at the Royal Rumble.